Welcome back to Sports Banter. This is Bryce, and I'm joined by Luca. And this week, we're going over some basketball again. We're doing it on a new night now, just for this one time, Thursday night, because we needed to get those All-Star announcements in. So now we know who's going to be in the All-Star game, and I'm quite excited to watch this All-Star game. I don't know how you feel about it, Luca.
I'm not going to be watching it, to be brutally honest. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm a big baseball fan, so when the baseball season's happening, I don't even watch the All-Star game for that. It just doesn't really interest me.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even when you have players like LeBron saying that they should even hold it because of Corona and stuff like that, why bother watching it then?
That's true.
But
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
I will be watching AEW Revolution.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I will definitely be watching both. We'll have to see. I know the All-Star or the NBA put out guidelines about the whole All-Star process, so we'll see if that pleases the players who are saying they don't want to go to the All-Star game.
I think LeBron just doesn't want to go back to Atlanta and get yelled at by some random girl and her like 80-year-old husband. That's what I think it is, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, no, that whole fiasco is just crazy. But anyways, first topic we're going to talk about is Coach Ryan Saunders was fired by the Minnesota Timberwolves after a 7-24 start. It was expected on Basketball Reference. Good website for stats.
Mm-hmm.
But their expected win-loss record was supposed to be 9-22 at this point. So slightly playing below expectations there. But the roster in general is just awful. Like, they're 25th in points per game. Their defense, a little bit better, 24th of the 30 teams in the league. But they're just terrible. Their roster is just so... Like, and we knew this at the beginning of the season. They had a lot of guards, and it was just a big roster imbalance, and it's been really upsetting to see. Well, first off, Karl Anthony Towns, he's only played 11 games before Saunders was fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in addition to that, Malik Beasley is scoring more points per game than D'Angelo Russell, who was supposed to be the second star of the team. Yet you've got Malik Beasley dropping 20 points a game. So D'Angelo Russell's kind of on he's not even shooting the worst. Like, his shooting percentages aren't that bad. It's just not as good as you'd expect D'Angelo Russell. And then something else that we've been knowing is that this team is not good defensively. Karl Anthony Towns, not known as a defensive player. He has 2 blocks per game, but that doesn't mean he has paint defense. And then D'Angelo Russell, just awful. Not a good defender at all. So those are your 2-star players that just don't play defense. And there's no wonder why you're a bottom 6 defense in the league. And I'm just going to keep going with it because I got a lot on this. Anthony Edwards, although he's been very impressive as a rookie, he's not shooting well from the field.
Yeah.
At the time of Ryan Saunders' firing, 37.5% for the overall field goal percentage and a 31.3% from 3. That's not the most efficient. And it's okay because he's a rookie, but he's taking 14 shots a game. And if you're only hitting 5 of those 14 shots on average, and from 3 you're hitting almost 2 when you're taking 6, that's not the most efficient. It's bad. Yeah. Oh, 3-point shooting. 3-point shooting. I'm sorry, but I'm taking a lot of weird pauses, but 3-point shooting is probably the most jaw-dropping part of this whole thing. I'll give you a little quiz. Luca, their best 3-point shooter. Do you think he's even averaging 10 points per game?
Well, when you phrase it like that, I'm gonna guess he's averaging like 5.
You're right. He's averaging 5.8. Jared Vanderbilt is the best three-point shooter statistically on that team right now. And number 2 is Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns, his three-point percentage is 42.3. I mean, and obviously a big reason is because he's played 11 games, whereas Malik Beasley's played 31. But come on, when your second best statistical three-point shooter is Karl Anthony Towns, you kind of have a problem with the three-point shooting. Literally every other player on that team is not shooting above 40% from 3. So what are you thinking about this whole thing, Calvin? Or not Calvin, Luca.
My name is not Calvin. May I really choked that. Well, first off, credit to Jared Vanderbilt. According to my source I'm looking at right now, he has not started a single game. So, and he's still your highest percentage-wise three-point shooter. Good for him.
Jared Vanderbilt has started 12 games.
Well, Wikipedia was wrong. Sorry. Anyways, so I'll take everything I say with a grain of salt. Did the coach deserve to get fired? Yes. I understand he has a bad team, but the record, he only won 7 games. Every single year he's coached there, they've done very bad. He shouldn't be the coach there. The difference between a great coach and a bad coach, or a decent coach. A great coach, because you said their defense is horrible.
Yeah.
A great coach, besides getting new players, getting players that can defend. A great coach can make players who don't know how to defend or can't defend, can make them defend, can teach them how to defend.
Yeah.
There's ways you can get around this problem, and Saunders just didn't do that. He's not a horrible coach. He didn't have pieces to work with necessarily. He's young, relatively. I'm sure he'll get another job, a coaching job. The weird thing with this whole thing, in my opinion, is the person they got to replace him.
Yeah.
This Chris Finch guy. He has never. This is his first head coach role. He's been an assistant. I mean, I don't really know anything else about him. If I'm having a new coach take over my team, I don't know if I would want it to be this guy. Hopefully he does well. Hopefully he can turn this team around. But
he's got a lot of NBA experience. He has 24 years of experience in the NBA and the G League. He was last seen as the associate head coach for Toronto this year. Before that, he was associate head coach with the Pelicans from 2017 to 2020, a.k.a. the bad years, and then that one playoff run. But the thing that gets me is that how fast they hired him. They literally fired Saunders, and then I feel like it was a couple hours later, they hired Chris Finch. Like, how did they get the deal done so quick? And it's so bad, it's so quick that the National Basketball Coaches Association is disappointed in the quote lack of diversity and transparency in the Timberwolves hiring process. So it's just suspicious how fast they did everything. That was Ryan Saunders really supposed to be the guy? Because, I mean, they were really quick to just turn around and hire Chris Finch.
Which is weird because Saunders has been there for so long as the assistant and then as the head coach. So no loyalty there, apparently.
Yeah, not good from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hopefully that's their guy. Like, hopefully this pays off for them. But this is just so fast. I don't know if it's the right move.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. The Houston Rockets cut center Demarcus Cousins. Well, Demarcus Cousins, he really was derailed by his Achilles injury when he was on the Pelicans.
Yep.
Got worse when he tore his ACL on the Warriors. And now he's back up with Houston. And he hasn't been the best, but I think he's been pretty serviceable as a kind of backup center I mean, what do you think about this, Luca? What do
Wait,
you
he
think
tore.
about DeMarcus Cousins?
Wait. What'd you say? Hang on. What'd you say he tore at the Warriors?
His ACL, right?
That was at the Lakers. He tore. Because I put his injuries down too. He tore his quad at the Warriors.
Gotcha.
But no, that's basically been his career,
Yeah.
which stinks.
I mean, that's
He's a
just
good
been
player.
Yeah.
And how the Rockets are right now, him being able to go back with John Wall and be with him, this seems like it could have been a good year for Cousins to, rebuild himself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not working out. I think, there's two sides of a player I think he wants to be. I think there's one side of him that wants to be winning championship rings, and he doesn't care where he goes. He could go he doesn't have to have a big contract. He just wants to win another ring. Or he could be that other half of him that just wants to play.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously it just depends what team he goes to, but there is one team I keep seeing him linked with, and that's the Heat. And that's a little bit of both. I don't see them making another big championship run like they did last year. Obviously not. But I think he will get some playing time there.
Yeah. DeMarcus Cousins this year, he's looked a little off. As always, though. Because, I mean, DeMarcus Cousins coming back from 3 major injuries in the span of 5 years. That's a lot to handle with DeMarcus Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't been shooting too well. I mean, he's been a serviceable player. I honestly don't know why the Rockets released him to begin with. He wasn't worth a lot of money. He signed pretty much a veteran minimum. So it wouldn't have been the worst idea to just keep him around. I mean, unless they have
I
a
agree.
guy, like a young big guy that they want to give minutes to. I don't see why they did it. But
could have been an eternal thing that we don't know about. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins is back to his normal self with getting ejected and getting technicals. I mean, his attitude hasn't changed. But in terms of where he's off to next, I mean, I know you mentioned the Heat. I have 3 other teams. One of them, which I don't believe is going to happen, but I see it everywhere, which that team's the Lakers. It's not going to happen. You guys need to
I don't think it is either. I mean,
quiet.
If he never had that injury at the Lakers, I think he's still there. I think he's still there personally.
Yeah, but
I don't see them taking him back.
I mean, I would say that it would be more understandable because Anthony Davis is injured now, but Anthony Davis is coming back.
Nah, I
soon.
still don't see it.
He's coming back relatively soon. Montrezl Harrell, he's at the center position. So you don't... They have Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell, so you don't need a DeMarcus Cousins on your team at that point. Second team, and I know everyone says this team, it's the Brooklyn Nets. They need a rebounding 5. DeMarcus Cousins could do them well. I think there's potential there.
Yeah.
Third team, a little bit of a wild card. The Milwaukee Bucks. Their backup center right now is Bobby Portis. He's playing 83% of his minutes at the 5 position right now. And although his plus-minus is the highest that it's ever been this season, it's because he's on the Bucks instead of the Bulls, the Wizards, and the Knicks. I think that Bobby Portis is more of a player that plays at the power forward/4 position. And slotting DeMarcus Cousins into the 5 position, I don't think it would be a bad idea. I mean, it puts some size on that team. Especially since their big thing is that Giannis, he's lengthy. He's got all the length in the world.
Yeah, you're not... That's a good shout. I agree with that. He could go there.
He could. I don't know if that's... I don't see it happening, though. I see him going to the Nets. Although I don't like that. But
I see the Nets over the Bucks. Definitely.
Yeah, and I mean the Heat idea is very interesting if they were winning right now. Like they're kind of winning, but they're not like shoo-in for the playoffs.
What team does he play more for though? The Heat or the Nets? Do you think he'd get that much time with the Nets? They need him.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll go
need him.
there, but I don't know if he would. Look, his performances this season. I mean, given he hasn't really played that much, haven't been that great. I mean, if he's performing like that for the Nets might get frustrated with him.
He's played 20 minutes per game. He hasn't played like too little, but they need us. I still think they really need a center because they're only running with DeAndre Jordan at center, and yeah, I mean you could never have too many like players that can step up.
Look, all I'm saying is if they want him, he wants to go there, do it. There's no reason not to take him.
They have Nicholas Claxton at the backup 5 right now for the Nets. I think Boogie's a good idea, but if they pass up on him, that's fine. I don't care about the Nets. All right. Anyways.
Same. I agree.
Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. They're struggling without AD. They are 0-4 without Anthony Davis. They lost to the Brooklyn Nets by 11, the Miami Heat by 2, the Wizards by 3. Oh, and that was a game to see. And then they lost last night. It'll be 2 nights ago when you see this. Wednesday night, they lost to the Utah Jazz by 25 points.
Yeah.
Whew.
This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
My sole opinion. If AD was back and he played in all 4 of those games, they ain't winning all 4 of them. In my opinion, they were still going to lose to the Nets. They were still going to lose to the Jazz. The one game they should have beaten even without AD, or the one game they should have won without AD, was the Heat. They should have won that game. I don't know what they were doing there. The Wizards, yes, the Wizards aren't that, as a team and their record, aren't that great. But when you have players like Bradley Beal and you have Westbrook, they can show up, and they showed up that night. They showed up and they won. So even if AD was there, I can still see the Wizards winning that game. So this is not too shocking, but it's not good for the Lakers, and it's going to continue like this without him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the Wizards. They were on a 5-game winning streak when they beat the Lakers. They were red hot.
I know.
But in my opinion, I think they could have won all 4 games if they had Anthony Davis. I'm just going game by game right now.
The Jazz?
Yeah, they could have beat the Jazz. Nobody was hot in that game. Anthony Davis, I say they have a chance. Anthony Davis could have been red hot from the field.
Yeah, they definitely have a chance. I just think it's improbable that they would beat them.
I don't know.
Not impossible.
I think they had it. I think they'd have a good chance. That's just my opinion on the whole
Do you
matter.
think the Jazz might have just not taken it as seriously because he wasn't there? So maybe they didn't play at their peak? I don't know.
No. I'm going to get to that.
All
right, first game against Brooklyn. They had solid defense, but LeBron was literally the only one scoring on offense. So you could see why the Brooklyn Nets won that game. Against Miami, it's just the play at the end of the game that really pissed me off. You know, the missed game winner by Caruso. I get it. It was the right thing to do. It just it just didn't look good. And also LeBron and Kuzma didn't shoot efficiently at all. Washington, at the game at Washington, they just couldn't guard Westbrook and Beal. They just struggled. They both dropped like 40. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they did.
The game against the Jazz, their 3-point shooting was awful, but also nobody stepped up offensively for that team. LeBron had 19. And that was about it for them. Like I said, Anthony Davis, if he was playing that game, Anthony Davis could have stepped up, had 30. You know? Anthony Davis has that ability on any given night.
He's a difference maker. Yeah.
He definitely is. And he also could have had the paint defense could have been better, with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is still a good defender. People love to talk about his offense, but I mean, he still is a defensive beast.
Yeah, and the Lakers can get away with this.
Yeah, they can.
Over the normal season. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, you're good.
They can get over this in the normal season. But if something like this happens during the playoffs, Lakers ain't winning anything. They're not. They're just not.
Yeah. I heard about.
I think.
Yeah.
What?
I heard this from someone, and I kind of agree with it. So I'm just gonna say it here. It doesn't matter what happens in the regular season for the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Lakers can do whatever they want.
It doesn't. No.
As long as they get in the playoffs and they have their team at full strength, they could win the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't. You don't have to.
I completely agree. Yeah. If I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not too worried. I do have an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Say it was reverse. Say that these past 4 games, AD was fine, but LeBron was injured. Do you think the record changes or no?
Do I think the record changes? Like, from being 0-4?
Yeah.
I don't think it changes.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I agree.
I don't. I really don't think it changes. I think they'd still They'd still lose all 4 games. Maybe they'd win 1. I don't know. It depends. They lost to Miami by 2 and Washington by 3. The game could have changed if Anthony Davis was there instead of LeBron.
But you don't have LeBron. So.
I know, but
Right.
Anthony Davis, I think, he's a better scorer at this point in his career than LeBron is.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah. That's just thought it was it. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably would have lost all 4 too.
All right. Well, All-Stars. Talking about the All-Star discussions. I'm gonna lay out the All-Stars, and then Luca, whenever you want to interrupt with someone that who makes you like excited or mad.
Preference. Everyone take my opinion with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's basketball talk. It's opinionated.
You don't want to know what I was saying before we recorded.
There may be some biases involved to some people. Who knows?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so in the West, the starters, Steph Curry.
Yes.
You can understand why.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic, which people hated on because they thought Damian Lillard was better.
No, he deserves it.
I disagree. Luka deserves it.
I think he deserves it too.
It's Twitter talk. Nikola Jokic, MVP candidate, deserved. LeBron, obviously.
Deserved.
Kawhi Leonard, obviously. I mean,
yeah.
He had a good
I don't know
season.
what I was doing there. Yeah.
These 5,
he's averaged
in my
27
mind,
points per game.
Deserved it. Wasn't a bad decision. The reserves, Damian Lillard, obviously. Donovan Mitchell.
Deserved, yeah.
I'd give it to him. Zion Williamson. He deserves it in my mind.
You're biased, though.
I am.
For clarification.
But at the same time,
he's
one of the most efficient players in the league right now.
Yeah, I was slightly questioning it, but after looking over his stats and past performances, yeah, I think he deserves it too.
Zion is on a tear. Paul George, career year right now. He deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Rudy Gobert, I can see why questions are raised with Rudy Gobert. I think he deserves it.
Yeah, I was a little confused. He's like you said earlier before we recorded, he's an important role on a good team. So yeah, exactly. I think he deserves it too.
And then they threw Anthony Davis on this list, which I completely disagree with this.
So you would have put Booker over him in the very beginning?
I would have put Devin Booker over him before, regardless of if he got injured or not. Anthony Davis has been taking a seat back. Well, obviously we know why, because he's on the Lakers, and the Lakers can coast. Doesn't matter. Anthony Davis and LeBron James will turn it on in the playoffs. You know that.
Yeah.
So I would have put Devin Booker in this spot, but it doesn't matter because he's in the spot anyways.
Yeah.
And the last wild card, which people got mad about, was Chris Paul.
I understand getting mad about this one, but the question is, now that you have Devin Booker on the team, who do you put over Chris Paul?
Look, I don't put anyone over Chris Paul. I had Chris Paul in my personal list of all-stars when this began. There's an argument to be made about, I don't know, Brandon Ingram averaging 24 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have even given it to Brandon Ingram. Chris Paul deserves it. Chris Paul is the reason why this team's the 4th seed in the West. Chris Paul is the heart of that team right now. He makes the most clutch shots on that team. So I think Chris Paul definitely deserves to be there. But the people on Twitter who want to count the stats and just go based off of that, argue for different people, argue that De'Aaron Fox might have been snubbed. I don't believe that. I think Chris Paul deserves it.
No. Who is anyone saying that? No.
I mean, De'Aaron Fox he's been good, just not all-star.
Not all-star, no.
No. And now we're going to go to the East, where it gets a little fuzzy. East, I think, is where more of the controversy's at besides the Devin Booker thing, which ended up working itself out. All right, the starters for the East. Bradley Beal. Obviously, he's going
deserved,
on a tear.
100% deserved.
Kyrie, I had Zach LaVine instead of Kyrie as a starter. I think Zach LaVine
both deserve to be on the team, though.
They do, but I think Zach LaVine deserved to be a starter because he's been playing better.
He averages more points in the game.
Kyrie hasn't been playing that much. So I would have put Kyrie coming off the bench. But, it's the players that pick and the fans that pick. And Kyrie Irving is the more notable name. So that's why he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, deserved. Giannis, deserved. Joel Embiid, deserved.
Definitely deserved, yes.
MVP candidate, Joel Embiid. And the reserves, this is where it gets kind of wacky. Zach LaVine, obviously, as I said before, I had Kyrie in this spot, but Zach LaVine deserves to be in the game this year. He has had a phenomenal season. Jaylen Brown.
I think Jaylen Brown deserves it.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown deserves it too in my mind. He's been pretty good this season. So has Jason Tatum. On the same team.
How you said Jaylen Brown's name? I thought I was supposed to say no, he doesn't deserve it, but I think he deserves it.
Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, both averaging 25 points. Yes. They both deserve it. They've both been great. Nikola Vucevic.
This is where it gets questionable.
Now, I'm not hating on the Vucevic pick. I'm kind of vibing with it. Orlando's the 12th seed in the East right now. But Vucevic is the only reason why the Orlando Magic are winning games. So, in my mind, he deserves it.
Yeah.
I didn't have him on my list before. I had Gordon Hayward on the list, but I cannot argue with
Gordon
Nikola
Hayward
Vucevic.
has been good this game. Yeah. If you put one or the other, I don't think you can. It can be questionable, but I don't think you can necessarily argue with it.
I can see why Vucevic is on it now. I mean, Jonathan Isaac out for the season. Markelle Fultz out for the season. You don't have players. You just have Vucevic and Mo Bamba. And you don't have much outside of that. Julius Randle, deserved. He was on an absolute tear for the Knicks. Man, the Knicks they're 15-17 for the Knicks. That's good.
Silly Knicks. Silly Knicks. Yeah.
Dude, Julius Randle. I don't know where this was when he was on the Pelicans, but he decides to turn it on the Knicks. So, okay, that's fine. He's been a good all-around player for them. So, excited for them. Ben Simmons.
No. Just no. When I was looking at the list, I literally said, no. Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young over Ben Simmons. I know I'm biased, but that is such BS. That has to be the biggest piece of BS in this whole game. I can't believe it personally.
Look, okay. I look at Ben Simmons. Yeah. Ben Simmons with the numbers. He's not looking good. But looking at it a little more, I get why he's in the All-Star game. Their team's number one in
Plays
the East.
For the 76ers.
Yeah, he's number one in the East right now. But Ben Simmons, he's good defensively. He's got 0.8 blocks per game, 1.6 steals per game. The problem with him, though, is that he's just not as aggressive as he usually is, averaging 16 points a game. But he's also got 8 rebounds and 8 assists. So, I can see why, but in my mind, also, Trae Young has outplayed him.
Yeah. The point you made, which you're not wrong, yes, he's in there because his team's doing so well. But that's like putting Caruso in because his team's doing so well over the overall season with the Lakers. No, it's stupid, and it's a stupid choice. It's just, no. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, shout out to Trae Young. 27 points per game, 9.5 assists. He's been picking it up. His team just sucks. So, I wanted to see Trae Young in. He's not in, though, and that's okay. In my mind, that's okay.
He'll get it. He'll
be back.
Year. He'll get it the year after that. He'll get it the year after that. Definitely.
Yeah, and the last person on the list, which I think deserves it anyways, James Harden.
James Harden, yeah. No, he deserves it, 100%.
Of course. 25 points per game, 11 assists. Dude, James Harden's
assists,
he's going to end the year leading in assists.
Hey, I don't know if this is a hot take, just want to hear your opinion. Is he the best player on the Nets?
Nope, Kevin Durant.
Durant?
Yeah.
Fair.
I got
fair.
Durant.
He averages more points.
One of the best pure scorers in the game.
Hey, all right. I know we didn't have this on the list to talk about.
I know you're talking about.
I don't even have.
You're talking about the Hawks.
I don't even have a pick for this. No, not even that. I don't even have a pick for this. So whatever I say, I'm definitely talking out of my butt. Who is the best player on each of the All-Star teams this season? Who do you think's just been the best?
All right, Western Conference.
I have my
first?
pick on the Eastern. I gotta look at the. I only have one pick on the Eastern. I gotta look at the Western for a second.
Western Conference, Nikola Jokic. And on the East, I'm taking. All right, that's a little tough.
Okay, I think I agree with Jokic on the Western. I'm looking at everything. He's that good.
Okay.
He's the best center in the league.
Yeah, I got the
Eastern,
East. Joel Embiid.
I got the East too. Okay, well, fair. That's 100% understandable. I just take Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal. But Embiid, I 100% Embiid. I 100% get it.
Yeah, I'm just taking Embiid.
But I take Beal.
He's got the defense to go along with the offense.
Actually, you know what?
He's a good paint presence.
I tell you, I'm throwing my pick out the window. I'm going with Ben Simmons. That's my MVP this season. Or not, he's my MVP for the whole season. Yeah. Definitely. Anyways, back to the other thing that was not planned. The Hawks. I just want to get through this right quick. Another week of inconsistencies. Besides the fact we played Boston 3 times. First Boston, win. Go against Boston again, loss. Play against Denver, win. Then Cleveland, that game was an atrocity. We lose. Then we play against Boston again, win. This is just typical Hawk stuff. I don't want to be too negative with them right now. So I just want to say Trae Young did really, really well in that first game against Boston, 40 points and 8 assists. And the second Boston game, which happened very recently, Gallinari went off, 38 points. Finally, he's doing something, and he really did something there. And shout out to my boy Clint Capella, who had a great game against Denver. So yeah,
Dude, you and Clint Capella, you've got some kind of chemistry with Clint Capella that's unmatched.
Facts. I'm in his head. He does what I say. When I'm watching him play, I'm like, oh, he should get that rebound, and he gets the rebound.
Damn.
It's amazing.
Luca, you gonna go into sports betting?
Sports betting?
Yeah.
I don't want to get into sports betting, especially not with basketball.
Bro, you can make a lot of money with Clint Capella.
That's true.
He does what you say.
Anyways.
All right.
Capella punched the ref.
Oh, he does it. He gets ejected. Oh. All right, your games to watch. Friday, February 26th. You want to watch Portland beat up on the poor old Lakers? Go ahead. 9 p.m. on ESPN. It might be a good game, but it also might be Damian Lillard just punching LeBron in the face. Not literally, but...
I hope that's what happens. No offense to LeBron. I just hope Portland wins.
Yeah, I think Portland's going to win this one. But the Lakers, they have a chance, you know. LeBron, he could turn it on whenever he wants. Maybe he decides, yeah, let's go full-on LeBron mode.
Yeah.
Next game, Sunday, February 28th. The Clippers face the Milwaukee Bucks. 2:30 p.m. on ABC, primetime Sunday game. I think it's going to be an exciting one.
That's going to be good, yeah.
I just think overall Clippers, they're going to win this one. But, man, don't sleep on the Bucks. I feel like the Bucks they're not as like covered as before. Like they don't get much publicity in my mind. The spotlight.
Yeah.
The spotlight.
I mean, they're first in their they're first in their division.
Yeah,
Like,
but the division
they're not trash. Yeah, but I'm just trying to show that they're actually good.
They're
not
third seed
amazing,
in the East.
but they're good.
Third seed in the East. That's a way. I think Brooklyn,
To be fair, they did lose to the Pelicans, so they can't be that good.
Say that about the Suns. They got blown up by the Pelicans on national TV. Yes. But speaking of the Phoenix Suns, Tuesday, March 2nd, they play the Lakers. So, Chris Paul versus LeBron James. 9 p.m. on TNT.
That should be fine.
Heavyweight matchup in the Western Conference. But, yeah, I think that's it. So, if you all enjoyed this episode of Sports Banter, like, comment, subscribe, share to all your friends. And until next time, we will see you guys in the next basketball video.